Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us on behalf of HP. I'd really like to welcome you to this fantastic location. It was really a pleasure to see all of you yesterday with your families at the dinner. We at HP pride ourselves in forming very deep relationships with our customers. And we really think of us as an extended member of part of their corporate family. And likewise, we think of our customers as an extended part of our family. So it was really appropriate for us to host this event and inviting your family as well. And I also want to thank CMR and our agencies and the HP marketing team for doing such a fantastic job of hosting an event in a venue like this. As you saw from the video a few seconds back, we are living in some very interesting times. The pace of change is only accelerating. And almost every area that your organization deals with, whether it's customer support, revenue generation, new business, operations, every area, there's massive amount of change. And there's no function in a company that has to deal with this change than the IT department. So you as CIOs or senior IT executives have to be supporting the amazing amount of transformation that's happening in your organization. So what I want to do here is talk to you about what key transformational trends we see from a technology perspective and how HP can be your digital partner in supporting you in these transformation. So you saw the mega trends we have captured. These mega trends are more socioeconomic, technological trends. If you really boil this down to the mega trends from an enterprise IT perspective, there are 4 big trends: digital, cloud, mobility, and security. We think these 4 trends are going to play a major role in how companies drive various business initiatives. And what this does is places an enormous amount of challenge and opportunity for the IT department, because now you need to speed up your innovation. You need to provide services faster. You need greater flexibility because your employees are coming and asking you for new types of devices, different types of OS that you need to support. It also means you need to do more for the same amount of rupees that you had. And you need to do all of this while dealing with the risks that you see in the digital world, which is really around security, right? And digital has become a big thing. If you go back to the 1990s and maybe late 80s, when the internet boom started, right? The concept of web was created, and that trend has played out for the last 20 years. But the concept of web has now changed. We don't go to the web anymore. The web comes to us. The web comes to us on a PC. The web comes to us on our phones. It comes to us in our cars, on our appliances. In the future, it'll be things like parking meters. So the web is now all-pervading, and all devices have now become digital. All devices have become equal members of a connected world. And when you have so many different devices which are collecting real-time information, the example of that Mr. Jayesh Ranjan gave around these sensors now distributed in different villages and reservoirs collecting real-time data, the amount of data that's being generated is enormous. And when you have such amazing amount of data, you can really come up with better decisions. But these decisions can't be taken by people. You have to be able to use machines to drive this decision making. And this is where AI, artificial intelligence, et cetera, is coming. And this is where we see the world going digital and the world going autonomous. So what is HP? So before I talk about HP, and what we are also seeing is digital is going to impact everything. It's going to impact how you innovate, how you engage with your customers, how you acquire customers, and how you enhance their experience. Let me give you an example of what we are doing at HP. So at HP, you may be aware, we have physical stores called HP Worlds, where we sell our products, right? We have close to 500 of these across the country. What we're experimenting with is technology where we can actually use thermal imaging to see which part of the HP world customers are spending their time in. So we know which products they most engage with and how we can enhance their experience. We're also enabling technology in these stores where, with the help of a tablet or another form factor, customers can order products online if they don't find the products in the store. Right? So this is the omni-channel execution. So you clearly see technology is changing the way companies like HP and companies like yours will engage with customers and support the customers. So let's talk about what HP can do for you. And this is really where we differentiate ourselves from just being a pure box provider to be really your partner in your digital transformation. The office of the future is changing, and I'll talk a little bit about what that means. We can help you engage with your workforce better. We can help you make your workforce more productive. There are lots of workflows that can be digitized, automated. We can help you do those. A lot of these workflows will also become mobile and fundamentally transform how you deliver these business processes. That's another big area of focus that we can support you in. Manufacturing, and you might think, what does HP have to do with manufacturing? We are already in the business of 2D printing. We are now getting into the business of 3D printing, and we are going to transform manufacturing. So I'll talk a little bit about how HP can help you with that. And finally, everything is moving to be delivered as a service, and HP can be your support partner to provide you with technology as a service. And underlying all of these 5 key pillars is our promise of endpoint security. Security is becoming extremely critical in today's world. And HP's devices, security is table stakes. We build one of the most secure printers and PCs. So security for us is paramount. So our promise to you is to be a digital transformation partner across these 5 pillars of office productivity, digitization, mobility, transforming manufacturing, and delivering things as a service. Underlying that is a promise of security. This is an important framework that we'll come back to in subsequent meetings and discussions, but I just wanted to leave this overall framework with you. So let's talk a little bit about office of the future. What's happening is offices are changing. We are going away from putting people in cube farms to creating environments where people can engage and work differently. And why is that happening? This is happening because the workforce is changing, right? The majority of the workforce today is millennials. So who are millennials? Millennials are people born after 1980. So that means if they're working in your office today, they are between the age group of 18 and 35. So for millennials, design is very important. It's also important for them to collaborate. Nearly 40% of the time, millennials spend on conference calls or collaborating with people, right? So they're not working just all by themselves. They're also not working just in the office. They're working everywhere. They're working outside the office. They're working at homes. They're working when they're traveling in the car or in the train. So that's why the office of the future is evolving. And what HP is doing is responding to the needs of the evolving office of the future. The first thing we're doing is we're paying a lot of attention to design. And I want to talk to you about, show you a product here. So this is our new EliteBook X360. So I don't know if the camera can focus on this. And what's great about this is now taking design that consumers love and bringing it into the commercial world. It's really thin, it's very light, and it's a convertible. So you can actually use this not just as a clamshell mode, but also as a tablet. We also have inking features, so you can use your pen and you can write on it. And this really appeals to the millennials. And the promise here is we are trying to get millennials more engaged and more excited about what they do. By also, one of the big components is how do we change the technology that they use to do most of their work. The other cool feature about this device is security. So we've actually, I'm sure you've seen privacy filters which go on top of the screen where you try to prevent other people from watching it. We've built the privacy filter right into the notebook. So with the touch of a button, you can actually see the screen from the side. There you go. So now with the touch of a button, if you're on a flight, if you're working on a confidential presentation, if you're in a hotel working on a confidential presentation, you can see it. But somebody who's standing by your side can't see it. So this is really the new generation, the technology for the new generation, which allows them to be mobile, allows them to work any place, and yet provides the promise of security. We're also building solutions to enable collaboration. All our notebooks now have enhanced sound, so you can actually use them for conferencing. You can actually listen right off the PC. If you have multiple people in a room, they can also listen in from the PC and speak into the PC. We're also building dedicated products for collaboration, and you'll see one of our products, the EliteBook, the Elite Slice. You'll see at the back of this room, which is really built for collaboration. It's simple, it's secure. With the touch of a button, you can start a conference. I'm sure all of you have experienced getting into a meeting and wasting 5 minutes just getting ready for the conference, presenting, getting a presentation to work. The Elite Slice hopes to take care of all of that. The last thing we're doing, we're working on some future concepts around how do we make offices smarter. Again, using IoT, using sensing technology. We'll talk a little bit more about that at a future time. So let me just roll a video to kind of bring to life the Office of the Future concept.
are destination healthcare. Our patients fly in an average of 514 miles to be treated by CTCA.
Having the motto of care that never quits, we're trying to say that whatever we can do, we want to keep fighting to have the best standards that we can. And by having that 100% uptime goal gives us the opportunity to get there. We put technology at the fingertips of our stakeholders. We've aligned with HP printers, and we've also aligned with the HP Elite series on the desktops and laptops. With this model, they want something that's going to be reliable. They want something that's going to be light, that's going to be quick. They want the performance of this model. We don't have to worry about the infrastructure supporting our patients, and basically our stakeholders can do a more effective job. Benefits I think we see is we use solid state drives. With those solid state drives, we see a better performance. We actually see lower power usage. Our stakeholders are able to boot up their machines faster. They're able to use their applications faster. We have to be HIPAA compliant, so we have to have lots of security on our laptops and desktops. With that comes a bunch of performance overhead that we have on compute, on memory, and disk utilization. So having these Elite series that are actually more beefier gets us past that. Standardizing on HP hardware across the infrastructure allows us to give better support, provide stability for our stakeholders, and it just makes it easier for us to help support our environment. Through HP's collaboration, we've seen a lot less downtime with their technology that's in place. We've seen a lot better supportability going forward, and it just makes it easier for us to do our jobs.
Great. So I think my request to all the CIOs in the room and the IT executives is, please let us replace all your old thick notebooks with really sleek ones that we just described. I can bet you the ROI on that is going to be really high in terms of the employee engagement, employee productivity. So that's something which we will come and speak to you about. So that was the Office of the Future pillar. The second pillar of our digital transformation story is around digitization. Now you clearly know HP as a printing company. What we're also doing is helping you deal with the amazing amount of paper that comes into your organization, right? We are still a very paper-intensive economy or companies. Now, it'll never be the case that paper will completely go away, right? The promise of the paperless office was dreamed of in the 1980s, and today, after 30 years, we are nowhere close to it. So there will always be paper. Some will be, there'll be mixed paper environment, mixed paper and digital environment. So we can really come in and support you in taking your workflows digital. So if you have a recruitment process or an account opening process or a claim processing issue where you have papers coming in, we can digitize those, archive those. They can be made available easily. And the benefits of this is, you have easy access of documents. Only the authorized people access the right documents. And you can make sure that the papers are being accessed at the right time. So digitization is a very interesting opportunity. So those of our customers who are talking to us about managed print services, we definitely have a huge opportunity in digitization as well that we can help you with. Moving on. Now, this is, I think, to me, is my most favorite pillar within the digital transformation framework. And this is really about mobility. Mobility, to me, is still at a very early stage of adoption in enterprises. Most of the adoption in enterprises today is really around equipping employees with a phone. But that's just scratching the surface, because the true power of mobility is really helping transform your business workflows. So an example that I like to give is, think of a warehouse, right? Where you've got warehouses where goods are coming in, goods are going out. And today, a lot of those warehouses are paper-based processes. So you have a worker who writes down what goods came in, came out, goes back to the office, and then enters them in the PC. What if we can actually equip this worker with a tablet or some kind of a mobile form factor where this individual is in real-time basis acknowledging what has come in or gone out? Or if they're going to a particular part of the warehouse and locating a product, they can geotag it so that next time somebody wants to locate the same product, they don't have to search for it again. So mobility, this is just one example. You can think of Salesforce, you can think of field force automation. In a variety of ways, mobile products, by bringing in your enterprise apps and your enterprise data right to the field worker and empowering them with the real-time data and helping them make the right decision at the right time, you can truly transform your workflows. And this is a huge opportunity. HP, a lot of the different industry analysts are predicting that this is going to be one of the biggest areas where CIOs are going to be focused on. But what HP can do for you is we can actually offer you the complete service offering here. We not only provide you with enterprise-grade devices with built-in robust security, but we also work with ISVs and other solution providers to come and develop an entire end-to-end solution for you. And then finally, we will manage the whole service and implementation, installation, and maintenance for you. So this is a complete life cycle that we can of services that we can offer you as part of our mobility offering. Again, we'll take a video to kind of bring to life the mobility example here.
Emirates Airline is the world's fastest growing international airline, traveling to more than 140 destinations in 80 countries. Delivering outstanding experience to customers worldwide is one of the key factors in the airline's unprecedented growth. The airline is putting the HP ElitePad tablet in the hands of every purser in its fleet. With the HP ElitePad, the crew can easily access passenger preferences from language spoken and favorite foods to preferred seats. The HP ElitePad tablets run Emirates Airlines KISS software solution that is the gateway to all the information the crew needs to deliver an outstanding and very personal in-flight experience.
We decided to go for the HP ElitePad, which gives us a combination of, a very performant, nice looking, but very robust device, because you can imagine cabin crew on board, they may drop the device, they may spill coffee over it. So we need to have, a ruggedized, stable environment, but still not one of these huge, heavy devices. And also when they walk through the cabin, we want to display our image of being an innovative, modern company.
Lightweight and maneuverable, even at 35,000 feet. Robust and secure. Able to handle the heavy IT demands of long flights. The HP ElitePad helps Emirates Airline integrate an enterprise mobility solution with Windows corporate applications.
Satisfaction for me and my team is when we see our customers leaving the aircraft at the end of the flight and they're happy that we delivered an exceptional service and experience.
So hopefully you got a perspective of how mobile devices can change customer engagement. So whether it's a customer service rep, it's a sales rep, or a field worker, embedded, powered with the right kind of technology, they can really become more productive, save you costs, improve quality. So let's turn now to the fourth pillar of our transformation offering, which is really around prototyping and manufacturing. So as I mentioned, right, HP historically been a 2D printing company. Now, what are we going to do as far as helping you with manufacturing? So we have two very interesting technologies. The one on the left is it's called Sprout. This is a platform that we launched about 3 years back. It's a computing platform with a projector. I don't know how many of you have heard or seen Sprout. Can you just raise your hands? Okay, very few, so hardly one or two. And so we'll try and share this technology with you next time one of our sales reps meets with you. But this technology essentially allows people to go from digital to physical very easily. So the computer has the projector as an arm that actually projects on the mat in front. And if you place an object, a 2D or a 3D object, it basically scans the image and shows it in the PC. So you can take any 2D or 3D object, immediately scan it, create a digital version of it, and manipulate the digital version. And when you're ready, you can actually print it back or project it down to the mat for further manipulation. What it also allows you to do is collaborate. So you can have multiple sites where people can actually collaborate and use Sprout to basically engage in a very seamless fashion. The other technology that we have is around 3D printing. Now, you've all probably read and aware of the fact that 3D printing has really become mainstream. It's come out from being a hobby technology to a technology that companies like GE are using for printing, parts, aircraft spare parts, etc. And HP has a very, very disruptive technology in it. It's called HP Jet Fusion. This is a technology that we announced in 2014. We announced our first set of products in 2016, and we are now shipping those products. And the promise of these technology is the fact that we can print up to 10 times faster at half the cost versus other comparable 3D printing technologies. And what this is going to do is this is going to bring 3D printing into the mainstream. It's going to be mainstream manufacturing, mainstream prototyping. So if I just go back to the example that I was showing earlier, how do you combine Sprout and 3D printing? So let me take an example. I think I've met one of our friends from L&T. So if you're an L&T or a project company that's doing project in, let's say, based in Bombay, and your head office team is sitting in Chennai, and you have another engineer sitting somewhere else in the world, you can all collaborate using Sprout. Let's say a part breaks down in Bombay, right? You can take that part, You can scan that using Sprout, so everybody can see what the problem is. The engineer sitting somewhere outside can immediately design a new part, and that part can be 3D printed anywhere, let's say closest to that manufacturing site, and shipped to the engineer, to the project team overnight. That's the power of 3D printing. That's the power of Sprout that we're talking about. It's not there today, but in a few years from now, that's where 3D printing is going to disrupt. It's going to really digitize manufacturing. It's going to transform manufacturing. All right, so let's talk about the last pillar, which is IT as a service, right? So everything is moving to a services model, right? Our car is a service. There'll be a future where a lot of people will not buy cars. They'll just rent cars by the hour. I just moved back to India recently. I don't have my furniture yet, so I just rented furniture. Everything done online. So furniture as a service. Homes as a service thanks to B&B. So why can't IT be a service, right? So what we are trying to do is get you the best devices, but also we are trying to help you churn these devices every 2 to 3 years because people want to get a new device. So IT as a service is a very interesting proposition. We are moving you from selling a device to owning and basically using a device as a service. And it's not just about financing. We provide you the entire life cycle of services from configuration, installation, maintenance management to end-of-life disposal. So that's the promise of device as a service. And it's really helping you move from a CapEx to an OpEx model. But underlying all of these 5 pillars, as I mentioned, is our promise of security. And security today is more important than before. It's not a question of whether you will get hacked. It's a question of when, right? So that's really, and I'm sure as CIOs and IT executives, you're constantly losing sleep about the vulnerability of your network. And what we find is a lot of companies invest in security for their data centers, for their apps, but they don't pay enough attention to the endpoint devices, PCs and printers. And this is where HP has a very, very strong value proposition. As I mentioned before, we have the world's most secure printers and PCs. And our security goes down to the silicon level. So a hacker can't really use software to circumvent the security settings because our security is actually embedded, hardened at the silicon level. And our security goes from device. So we secure the device, we secure your identity, we secure the data, and secure document. Services like pull printing where you don't have to print a document. So a lot of times what happens is you print a document and that confidential document is lying on the printer. So by the time you walk up to that printer, somebody has probably seen it or taken it away. Now you can go to the printer and actually pull the document from the cloud and print it right there. So that's the kind of features we built in which provide security for your documents as well. So the last thing I want to just highlight here is the role of print security. Now, this is an area where we find a lot of people don't focus. A printer is actually nothing but a PC. It's got a hard disk, it's got a CPU, it's got firmware, it's connected to the internet, it can send emails, it's connected to the network. So a printer is just like a PC. So when you think about security for your PC and your server, you also need to think about security for your printers. And again, we are very happy to come and talk to you about doing a print security audit for you and then advising you on how you can make your printer fleet secure. So I think that's really all I had to share. In closing, I just want to summarize, digital transformation is happening across all your organizations. HP can be a big transformation partner for you across those 5 pillars I talked about: office of the future, digitization, mobility, manufacturing, and then everything as a service. And embedded with all of this is obviously our promise of security. So thank you very much for listening to us and look forward to engaging with you on these topics. Thanks.